Everybody, quick overview of kind of what went down this weekend if you guys didn't get to tune in. Rocket League Spring Series for the European region ended up going down. $125,000 on the line. We ended up covering this a little bit about what teams to look out for, things to discuss, but as always in the European region, things did not go according to plan. A lot of it started at the very beginning where Dignitas, a favorite of mine, actually ended up dropping immediately to a team by the name of Canyons. More details on like the specifics of the teams and stuff, check out that video that we put out earlier last week. Overall, kind of important notes to take and things to discuss as the overview of how things played out. Dignitas for Canyons. Canyons just basically cut off everything Dignitas had. A lot of early aggression, the ability to kind of dictate the pace of the match and stop things from developing altogether. Just minimal impact. Normally Astral is their showcase player, but just was not able to get anything going. So big upset there. Drops Dignitas down to lowers. Barcelona Endpoint. And Endpoint was the big surprise for this entire tournament. If you guys don't know and haven't been able to pay attention or tune in, Endpoint ended up dropping long-term member Nachto in replacement of former TSM member Metzanaris. Longtime veteran. A lot of RLCS experience, been world championships, been to top 3 placements, runners up against Gale Force in season 4. Like, star-studded lineup that he's been a part of, but brought in that veteran experience and immediate impact. This went from a team that not only was like super team oriented, but also just full-blown aggression and opportunities and pass plays and setups, paired with probably one of the most annoying players to ever play against in Virtuoso, who goes for more demos than I've ever seen anybody else in a very long time. So Endpoint surprised a lot of people, a lot of shock from them. Start by 3-0ing Barcelona and then making all their way to the winners finals against Vitality, which we'll get to later. On the lower half of the bracket, we had Vitality versus BDS. Vitality, the big question mark I had for them was, how were they going to perform based upon the results that we were seeing over a month ago? They hadn't played in anything that we've seen since March 29th, which was the regional championship that they lost to Dignitas in. And slow and steady. More and more they play, the better and better they look. So Fairy Peak did an interview and talked about how they've been grinding, playing tons of ranked and stuff. And it showed. Vitality still looks strong as ever early on. And then Mousesports versus Clappers, the question of how is Arju going to perform? Is he going to continue to be the super sub? And this was a 2-day event. Day 1, we're kind of jumping the gun here. Day 1, phenomenal. Arju and the rest of the guys, like Arju, standout performance. Really good. Speed as well. Speed really played well in day 1 and day 2 actually. But Arju was kind of the one that they really rely heavily on, and he played well. There was actually a lot of narratives during the series, I don't know how you say it, but during their series, there was a big narrative about how Arju had to be the one to step up and do this and that, which I actually have a bone to pick with. The guy's still a rookie. He's still very new to the scene, and I don't know why all the pressure and everything has to rely on him with him being the new guy. Shouldn't it be up to the veterans in Cookser and Speed that take care of him and take them under his wing and, like, help him move forward? So, I don't know. I hated the narrative that a lot of the casters were actually pushing, being like, yep, it's up to Arju. He's got to be the end-all, be-all. He's the clutch guy. And I think it's kind of unfair to put that pressure on a new player. And even though he's shown that he can do it before, I don't think he should have to be the one to step up every single match. And in good teams, usually it is 2 players play really, really well, and then the third one they pop off brings them to that next level. But to have the expectation that this one player is going to play amazing all the time, I think his teammates should have been able to step up. But it also shows how impactful and how important Arju is to his team. So I would like to see from Mousesports moving forward, Cookser and Speed really taking control of the game if Arju isn't playing at his peak performance like we have been seeing relatively consistently since he's come into the RLCS scene. Brings us to the lower bracket, Dignitas versus Barcelona. Not much to talk about going forward. Dignitas finally came back and was like, guys, we are still one of the best teams in Europe. And made their run 3-0 over Barcelona, 3-1 over Mouse, 3-1 over Canyons, 4-2 over Endpoint, and then eventually got to the grand finals, which I'll spend more time on. But Dignitas just finally warmed up. It felt like they came back. If you guys don't know where the bracket ended, so they ended up doing on the first day of the matches, they did 8 matches all the way up until losers round 2. So at losers round 2 is where they stopped. And Dignitas basically going through that was like, yeah, we're still like a top tier team, but they were looking kind of sour at the beginning and then turned it around. That really became solidified when they ended up playing Mousesports. where they continue dominance, like pass plays were working, good stellar infield plays, just over the top. Like Dignitas is one of the most fun teams to watch. It's probably why they're one of my favorites. Is just they're exciting to watch. They're very entertaining. The way that they work the field, the pass plays, they just always have somebody that knows how to cut it back infield for another setup, and there's usually somebody there to take the shot and the opportunity. So always massive shout to Dignitas, but that's not to say that Mouse did not put up a fight, which they did. I mean, you look at the score line, and 1-goal game, 2-goal game, 1-goal game, 1-goal game. Super close. So Mouse, I like the way they're trending. I think it's only going to get better. So shouts to them. Unfortunately, they get knocked out there. Barcelona was the one that didn't impress me. Out of everybody in this tournament, Barcelona was the one team that I'm just like, I'm not really impressed by anything you guys do. They went 0-6. They didn't win a single series. So some things Barcelona needs to figure out. I think my difficulty with Barcelona is the things I said about the video on Friday is someone needs to step up. Someone needs to take that leadership role or that catalyst role that's going to be the one to be like, I'm going to be the reason we get victories. And I just don't see that. I look at that roster, and I don't think Devo is confident enough in himself or whatever it is to be that leading charge. I don't think Flakes' playstyle is indicative of that. And Ronicky is too much of a wild card kind of fit-in player to be the one that's going to be the one that goes and makes crazy plays like Astro. Like, he can't dictate a match. So Barcelona's roster, when I look at it, I just don't see it, and it's starting to show in their results, which worries me moving forward, despite a top 4 placement during league play. BDS and Clappers, I was pretty happy with both. I think BDS is solidified as a team a little bit better, but Clappers just has a ton of skill ceiling. A lot of potential in that roster, a lot of capabilities that they can utilize, but still needs some refinement, and that's only going to get better the more experience they get against the higher level teams. They ended up going on and playing against Canyons, and Canyons looks great. Really impressed. Before we move on, though, Clappers, massive shouts to Archie. That boy is a workhorse. Love watching that kid play. A lot of potential for a very young kid. Clappers has not been able to play in the RLRS as both of their players were under the age of 15 up until this past week. So look out for Clappers next season of RLCS because you know those boys are going to be very difficult to play, and because their chaotic playstyle is very suited to the RLRS, I expect them to take probably number 1 or 2 without a doubt. So calling that extremely early here. Make sure you pay attention to Clappers through RLRS in Season 10 when that comes to be. Canyons, though, is basically like the Clappers, a little less mechanically sound, but very solidified as a team. Control the field really well, dominate the midfield. Canyons definitely turning heads. This is a team that I don't really watch the RLRS as much as I probably could. I just prefer dedicating my 16 hours a week to the RLCS or whatever it is. But Canyons is solid, very solid team. Part of the reason why they performed as well as they did. Ironically enough, the reason that they didn't get into the RLCS is because in promotion relegation tournament, they got denied by Endpoint, who kept their spot. So little rematch here. Endpoint still comes out on top, a better looking Endpoint for sure. But Canyons does bounce back. Massive shouts to Canyons. A lot of work to go, but Dignitas was hitting a hot streak at this point. Dignitas, like I said, just comes off that wins off of Mousesports. Very close series, kind of warms them up and gets them going for the day. And then against Canyons, it was just one-sided. Scoreline's relatively close, but Dignitas just controlled the majority of the field. And that's kind of how Dignitas plays. They're not going to score 5, 6, 7 goals on you, but they are going to control the pace of the field and wear you down. Their ability to adapt is just stellar, and part of the reason why I still consider them in the top 2. Dignitas looked really good, and they carried that on through Endpoint. Endpoint ended up going into the winners finals and losing to a very hot-looking Vitality. It was at this point that we all claimed, in my opinion, Vitality's winning the tournament. And I said this on my stream. If you guys don't watch the watch parties, twitch.tv/Lawler, I recommend coming and hanging out. We talk shop about the games regularly. We always do watch parties. It's open conversation. We have special guests. Usually we hang out with the CJ podcast crew and just banter and have fun. When the conversation is serious, we do hit on a lot of these topics, and we do them in a live situation. So if you guys have questions, we can answer those immediately, and it creates a really good dialogue. I said that Dignitas was probably my favorite going in on Saturday, but as soon as Sunday hit, I was like, I don't know, guys. I'm pretty sure Vitality is going to win this one based upon what I'd seen, and it ended up happening, so lucky me. But this match really solidified my opinion. Endpoint was looking good. Very good series. If you guys want to, this is definitely my series to go back and watch, Endpoint versus Vitality, as it is a stellar matchup. But you see the things about Vitality that makes them that wild card I talked about. They're just unbelievably talented on all fronts. In comparison to something like Dignitas, I look at Dignitas and go, Astral has the capability to make something special happen. No matter the situation, Astral is going to be the one that propels them to that next level. That player that I think that Barcelona is desperately missing. And if I look at Vitality, it's all three of them. Whether it's KDOT, whether it's Fairy Peak, whether it's Alpha, it does not matter. Every single one of those players has the ability to bust out something special. I think Alpha legitimately is the best flip resetter in the entire RLCS. He does not miss them up. He has the ability to get creative with them, and also hit a flip reset, faked it, and then did a pinch on the ground to top left. I'm pretty sure in one of the series. The boy's insane. You have KDOP, who is considered one of the best strikers in the world, and Fairy Peak, who is probably the most consistent player in the world and is absolutely dominant with the Fennec on kickoffs. It is how they tore apart Dignitas. Like, I pointed out numerous times on my stream, I'm like, that is a one's kickoff. He hits it perfectly center mass. It pinches out to win the challenge rather than giving it up. And then Alpha follows suit behind him and just pushes it in the back of the net top left. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it because you're either going for boost or playing way too defensively. So Vitality tore them apart. Now, I will say Vitality did have a one-game advantage in this double bracket. So it was actually only a 3-0, but that 3-0 was pretty damn dominant by Vitality. A lot of questions we've been asking about Vitality is them getting rid of Scrub. Is that the right answer? Without a doubt in my mind, yes. If they were to play a world championship right now, I think it'd probably be either G2 and Vitality or Vitality and Dig in the grand finals. And I have a hard time arguing against Vitality. Vitality looks fucking stellar. And I think that's how I'm going to end this video. If you guys want to watch a team that is continuing to do the things right, despite maybe not playing as much as I think they should, I think Vitality, mark my words, has the chance to become the next dynasty like Dignitas was for those 3 seasons when they won with Turbo Pulsa. So honestly, I highly recommend study Vitality, watch what they're doing. And part of the reason why they're able to do it is because each player on that team is extremely talented. We might see Europe dominating some tournaments moving forward in the future, but I really hope G2 can give them a run for their money, because right now those are the main two that I think are really pushing their specific regions forward. So with that said, appreciate you guys all coming and watching the video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or like me to express my opinion on any other specifics, or you have any opinions of your own, please drop those in the comments down below. I love doing reviews like this, and I think they're nice and easy, and they're very digestible content. But let me know what you guys think. And as always, if you guys haven't, subscribe, turn on notifications to make sure you guys don't miss any daily uploads, as well as thumbs up the video, as these are kind of what I do now. So appreciate it as always. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.